cowardly way that he chose to leave you behind. And then I want you to say to him, I am with RJ now. I repeat, I am with RJ.
Welcome my dear listeners, stay with me to get the spoilers first and subscribe to the channel. Let's find out what's going to happen on The Bold and the Beautiful. Ivy becomes the new bad guy when she tries to take something that belongs to someone else. The latest spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful make Ivy Forrester seem less like a beloved character from the past and more like a woman with a dangerous plan. The most recent news confirms that Ivy has been controlling Elektra, pushing her to stay angry at Will, and even stealing Elektra's letter to Will and putting Will's necklace on her to make it look like he had cut her off. That's why people are suddenly calling Ivy a bad guy. She's no longer just getting in the way. It is planned, it is mean, and it is changing the story in a big way. The most interesting part of Ivy's story is how personal her manipulation has become. According to Soap Hub, Ivy still has a problem with the Spencer men. In the April 15 episode, she brought up her long-standing grudge against Watt and Liam while telling Elektra to keep hating Will. Ivy isn't just reacting to one bad breakup or one awkward misunderstanding. He is using old wounds to hurt Elektra's current love life and trying to make Elektra live by Ivy's bitterness. A soap villain is someone who has been hurt and decides that everyone else should feel the same way. Ivy thinks of herself as a victim, which makes the story more interesting. According to Soap Hub, she felt like the third choice in her past relationships with the Spencer men because they were always paying more attention to Steffi or Hope. That history is important because it helps explain why she is now telling Elektra to forget about Will and think about someone else. Ivy's reasoning is simple and ugly. If the Spencer men treated her like an option, then Elektra shouldn't trust them either, but instead of being honest and warning Elektra, she has decided to ruin her relationship and use her anger as a weapon. The theft itself is the worst part. According to Soap Hub's report from April 15, Ivy stole Elektra's heartfelt letter to Will, then took Will's necklace and left it on Elektra's desk, so it would look like Will had read the letter and thrown her away. That one move changes Ivy from a meddler to a heartbreaker. She didn't just keep the truth from him, she made up a lie to break up two people. That's why the villain level is sticking. You are no longer helping. When you start rewriting someone else's love story with fake evidence, you are in charge. The fallout is already showing up in the weekly spoilers. Daphne tells Ivy that the truth must come out by the Friday. When the truth finally comes out, Elektra is shocked. That means Ivy's plan cannot stay a secret forever. The show is clearly building toward a public apology instead of a quiet one. When Elektra finds out that her breakup was based on lies, her feelings will change a lot. It's no longer a question of whether Ivy went too far. The question is whether she can live through the moment that Q is made public. The true reveal is even more chaotic because both Will and RJ are getting dragged into it. On Monday, April 13, Will and RJ get into a fight, and then one Friday, April 17, RJ says why he hates Will. That tells us that the fallout isn't just a love triangle. Ivy's manipulation has spread to all of Elektra and Will's friends, and now every friendship, rivalry, and family tie is getting caught up in it. The bad deeds have spread far beyond the first one. Elektra is at the center of it, and the spoilers make her look more and more weak. Elektra gives Will an ultimatum on Tuesday, April 14. Will and Ivy both tell Elektra their side of the story by Wednesday, and by Friday she is completely shocked by what she learns. That part makes Elektra seem less like a helpless victim and more like a young woman being pushed to the edge of a cliff without knowing who is doing it. Ivy's plan is working because Elektra is already emotionally involved, confused, and trying to figure out why Will seems so distant all of a sudden. The title's Hope's Man energy comes into play here. Even though the current spoilers are mostly about Elektra and Will, Ivy has always hated the Spencer men because of the history that kept Hope, Steffi, Liam, and Watt in a cycle of heartbreak. Soap Hop says that Ivy's past relationships ended because the men were interested in Steffi or Hope. Now Ivy believes that all of the Spencer men are the same. The current story is about Will, Electra, and Ivy, where the emotional DNA of the plot goes back to the old Hope's versus Ivy style rivalry that the title is hinting at. The interesting thing is that Ivy's actions are not random. She is not acting like a cartoon villain with a mustache. She is acting like someone who thinks they are righting wrong. According to Soap Hop's analysis, she thought she was protecting Electra because she didn't want her niece to make the same mistake she did by choosing a man who would break her heart over and over again. That's what makes her so dangerous. Ivy can tell herself she is being protective while still being mean. Soap operas love that kind of moral ambiguity because it makes the character more complex and the betrayal more painful. The show is also making it clear that people are starting to find out about Ivy's manipulation. Daphne tells Ivy on April 13 that the truth must come out. According to Soap Opera News on Thursday, April 16, Ivy finds a friend in RJ, which means she isn't completely alone even though things are getting worse. Then on Friday, the big reveal happens and Electra is shocked when the truth comes out. That progression shows up that the story is going to end in a fight, fallout, and emotional cleanup, not a quiet fade out. Ivy might think she is in charge of the story, but the spoilers say the story is about to take over her. Ivy's turn to evil has another layer that makes the story feel even sharper. On April 2, Soap Hop said that while Brooke was trying to get answer from RJ, Electra learned something surprising about Ivy. That means the audience has been following the mystery for more than a week, and each new clue has made Ivy look more deliberate, not less. The pattern was impossible to ignore by the time Ivy's stolen letter and planted necklace were found. She didn't just get in the way, she made a trap. RJ's involvement is also important because it means that Ivy's orbit is getting bigger. According to Soap Opera News, Ivy gets help from RJ on Thursday in a way she didn't expect. Then on Friday, RJ tells Ivy the truth about why he has problems with Will. That means Ivy is not only putting Electra against Will, but she is also getting involved in the bigger family drama that is going on around the Forrester office and its relationships. When a character's secret starts to affect more than one branch of their family in a soap, it usually means that the villain phase is just starting. The most ironic thing is that Ivy probably still thinks she is the only one who is wronged. It's clear that her past with Liam and what left a mark on her, and now she is using that mark as an excuse to hurt someone else's happiness. That's what makes the story feel so much like a soap opera. People can understand Ivy's pain, but they don't have to agree with her choices. She was hurt, but now she is hurting others. She wanted to keep Electra safe, but she chose to lie instead of being honest. She wanted to teach a lesson, but she went too far and hurt her feelings. And that's when the term new villain stops being just a headline. It becomes the show's current interpretation of Ivy's decisions. People are not saying that she's wrong or acting on impulse. People are saying that she stole letters, planted evidence, made people angry, and on purpose told another woman not to trust the man she loves. Ivy may not want to admit it, but that's villain territory. When Electra finds out that her breakup was fake, it will hurt a lot because it will destroy her trust in Will. It will also break her trust in Ivy. So if you want to know if Ivy is becoming the newest villain on Bold and the Beautiful, the answer is yes. She is getting very close. There is a lot of evidence. A grudge against the Spencer men, a campaign to manipulate Electra, a stolen letter, a planted necklace, Daphne pushing for the truth, and an ending where Electra learns something that changes everything. Even though the current story doesn't literally focus on hope, the emotional pattern is so familiar that longtime viewers can tell right away that something bad is going to happen. Ivy wants to be in charge, and to do that, she is willing to take away someone else's happiness. The last twist is that Ivy might end up causing the heartbreak and says she wants to avoid. Soap Hop says she told Electra to move on and think about someone new because she didn't want her niece to get hurt by Spencer Man. But the current spoilers make it clear that her own lies are what will hurt Electra the most. Soaps love to punish people in dramatic way like this. The bad guy thinks she is being smart, but the truth always catches up. When it does, Ivy won't just be shown. She will have to explain why she thought it was okay to control someone else's love life. And this is the moment Ivy crosses a line she may never come back from. Because this isn't just interference anymore. This is control, and control always comes with consequences. And honestly, what makes it even more dangerous is that Ivy still believes she's right. In my opinion, that's what truly turns her into a villain, not the lies alone, but the conviction behind them. She didn't just break trust, she rewrote someone else's reality, and that kind of damage doesn't disappear overnight. But here's the question that really hits. When Electra learns the truth, will the pain be about losing Will or losing Ivy? And even deeper, can Ivy ever repair a relationship she destroyed on purpose? Or is this the point of no return? Because looking ahead, this doesn't feel like a simple apology storyline, it feels like fallout, real emotional fallout that spreads even further. I wouldn't be surprised if Electra turns completely against Ivy, not just with anger but with a kind of cold distance that's even harder to fix. Or worse, what if Will never fully trusts again, even after the truth comes out? Because in soaps, betrayal changes people, it doesn't just end. And that's the twist here. Ivy wanted to protect, but she may have created the very heartbreak she feared. So now I am wondering, do you think Ivy deserves forgiveness after this? Or has she gone too far and finally revealed who she really is? Stay with me because when the truth explodes, it won't just expose Ivy, it will change every relationship around her in ways no one can undo.